What is up, guys? The Denver Broncos show. Evan here, back again. Here to give you guys my recap of the Denver Broncos second day of the 2011 draft, what we were able to do in the second and third rounds, and then kind of give a recap of like I said, day two of the 2011 NFL draft for the Broncos. Obviously had a great first day with picking Von Miller with that number 2 pick in the first round. And I thought we came back, had a solid second day. I think it could have been better. I think we made somewhat a questionable pick at number 46. I have no problem with the player, just the position we took there. But I still think it was a solid day for us and a very good step forward for us, and hopefully repairing our team, and especially that defense. We started the day out. We ended up trading one of our 2 second-round picks. We traded pick number 36 to the San Francisco 49ers for picks number 45, number 108, and number 141. I thought this was a really good trade for us. We were able to get a 4th and 5th round selection. We didn't have a pick in either one of those rounds, so that was big to get picks for today. And we were able to still get another second-round pick, get pick number 45, and San Francisco jumped up, obviously to spot number 36, our original pick. They drafted quarterback Colin Kaepernick out of Nevada, so they got their quarterback, hopefully their future franchise quarterback for their sake, and we still were able to trade down a couple spots, get that second round pick, and then acquire 2 more picks for day 3, which I think was a good trade for us. So I like that trade. Only trading down 9 spots and getting 2 other picks in value. I thought it was a pretty good value trade for us. And San Francisco got hopefully their quarterback they wanted. So the day started out picking wise for us at number 45. At pick number 45, we decided to select safety Rahim Moore out of UCLA. He's a guy I've been talking about throughout this draft process. I mentioned him in my draft preview, a guy that I thought we'd target in the 2nd and 3rd round. A guy that I thought the Broncos were going to be high on. I even mentioned in my video that I did about us selecting Von Miller that Rahim Moore was a guy I expected us to target on day 2 and in that 2nd round, and we went ahead and picked him. I love this pick. I really like Rahim Moore as a player. He's a guy that I think there's no question is the best safety in this draft. I mean, some people will argue that, but I think he is the best safety in this draft. Some people have compared him to Earl Thomas, kind of a slightly poor man's version of Earl Thomas. Rahim Moore was really excited about being a Denver Bronco, which is what you'd like to see as a fan. He was very emotional about the pick. He immediately said he's a huge fan of Champ Bailey and Brian Dawkins. That's a plus. He said that they were his 2 favorite defensive backs of all time. So that's got to be kind of a surreal moment for him that he's going to get a chance to play with both of them. He said he's excited to learn from Brian Dawkins, which that's a plus. I think we really needed to fill that safety spot, not only because we had a need there, but because Brian Dawkins doesn't have a whole lot of left in his career. I think he still plays at a high level, and I think he still can play for another 4 or 5 years at a very high level because the man is that great of a player, and because he keeps his body in great shape. But eventually the torch is after going to be passed, if you guys get what I'm saying, and I think Rahim Moore can be that guy. Like I said, he's going to learn behind Dawkins. I think that's only going to make him a better player. And this is a guy that is hopefully going to make an impact for us on the defensive side of the ball. Like I said, I think it was the best safety in this draft. I don't think many people will argue that. This guy's a ball-hawking safety. He's a center fielder, as a lot of people have put it. Just makes plays, has very good ball skills, and is a guy that also has good instincts. I mean, he's going to help us in a variety of ways, but really where he's going to help us is with his great ball skills, his great instincts, and him being kind of a ball-hawking safety, and he's going to make some plays in kind of the center field, if you will. That's why a lot of people call him the center fielder, because of his ability to make plays and his great ball skills, like I've mentioned before. He's got to become a better tackler. I'm not saying he's a bad tackler, but he's a guy that's got to become a more stout tackler at the point of attack, be better in the run support as a safety, and I think he'll improve that under Brian Dawkins, and that'll only make him better. It's a great pick for us. I'm very excited to have Rahim Moore here. Would like to welcome him to Denver, and he was a guy I thought we would target, a guy I thought we would take, and he definitely is happy to be here, which is also a plus. Then at pick number 46, the Broncos decided to select Orlando Franklin, offensive tackle / guard out of the University of Miami, Florida. I think this is a solid pick. I have no problem with us taking Orlando Franklin. I do have a little bit of a problem with us taking this position at pick number 46. I also have a problem with us kind of taking Orlando Franklin, a guy in the 2nd round that I easily think we could have probably got late 3rd, early 4th round. So I think this was probably the only questionable pick the Broncos have made thus far. The reality situation is at number 2 we draft Von Miller, which I love. You get that get the elite linebacker in this draft. You get a great pass rusher to put next to Elvis Dumervil, and a guy that hopefully is going to be a Pro Bowler for the majority of his career and is going to make an immediate impact right away. So in doing that, you pass on Marcel Darius, who most people believe is maybe the best player in this draft, if not the best defensive tackle. So you still have a gaping hole at defensive tackle going into day 2, and I had no problem with that because you got Von Miller, you get a phenomenal player in him. I thought we would address that defensive tackle spot immediately in the second round. You draft Rahim Moore at safety. That's a position of need. He's the best safety in the draft. You get great value by picking him where we did at number 45. But then at number 46, you got a guy like Marvin Austin on the board, who's a phenomenal talent at the defensive tackle position. You got a guy like Stephen Paya, who's a very sound defensive tackle. And you even have Daquan Bowers, a defensive end. That's still, we definitely need defensive tackle, but you need defensive line help. Any of those 3 guys would have helped, and you pass them for a 4th round tackle. So I was very kind of upset with that pick. Kind of like I said, I have no problem with Orlando Franklin. I just have a problem that when you had those 3 guys left on the board, you passed them. I do like Orlando Franklin. He's a guy that is a real solid player. He's a guy that hopefully will develop into an eventual starter at the right tackle position. He said the coaches, our coaching staff, has already told him that they project him at right tackle. He's a guy that has already said he's going to come in here, work hard, work his tail off to make people better around him and better himself. You like a guy with that attitude. And this is a guy that a lot of people think is the most physical offensive lineman in this draft. Mike Mayock has called him I guess out of respect, not in a bad way, a thug when it comes to playing offensive tackle, which is also a plus. And he's definitely a tough, mean, gritty offensive lineman that I think is going to help add depth to that offensive line. And I'm happy to have Orlando Franklin here. I just think with the huge need that we have at defensive line, with guys like Marvin Austin, Stephen Paya, and Daquan Bowers that were still available at this pick, I just still don't understand why the Broncos passed those guys up. But Orlando Franklin's still a good pick. I think this pick also does kind of make another question of what's Ryan Harris's future going to be with our team. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But even if he goes, now you have this guy, Orlando Franklin, who hopefully can step up and fill in for Ryan Harris and be a starting right tackle from day 1. And like I said, he's a guy that's a tough, mean, gritty style lineman, and he plays with a nastiness, if you will, and that's what you love to see. And he's a guy that, as he put it, thinks is the most physical offensive tackle in the draft, and adds depth to our O-line, which is huge for us. Our O-line wasn't good at all. And I'm happy to have Orlando Franklin here. And he's going to add competition as well at that right tackle spot if you keep Ryan Harris. That'll be interesting to see there. You can maybe even kick him inside, maybe play him at left guard. Him and Zane Beatles can battle for that starting position. And as a huge guy as well, you get a big guy. I think he's going to primarily play a tackle, but I think he'll provide competition at other spots. I think he can kick inside. But I think he will eventually, hopefully, be a starting right tackle for us. Then the Broncos at pick number 67 in the 3rd round. We were able to pick linebacker Nate Irving from the University of North Carolina State. Absolutely love this pick. Nate Irving's a guy, if you watch Bill Parcells' draft special, ESPN had a couple days before the actual draft, Bill Parcells had this guy as a 1st-round talent. So that says something to you right there. If you can get an inside linebacker that someone of Bill Parcells' knowledge thinks is a 1st-round talent, you get him in the 3rd round, that says something. So I really like Nate Irving. I liked him before the draft. Some people think he's the best inside linebacker in this draft. That's up for debate. Is a guy that is a very good character guy, has a great heart. I mean, just look what the guy's come back from. He actually was in a car accident where he had a collapsed lung, broken rib, separated shoulder, and compound fracture in his leg. He suffered all that in one car accident. Looked like his life obviously would be altered, but he'd never play football again. Comes back his senior year and has a hell of a season. I mean, that's just remarkable there. So you got a guy that's got a great will, a guy that obviously loves the game of football and has a great heart. So I love this pick. I think Nate Irving can become one of the steals of this draft. Obviously, there was a need at the inside linebacker position, and I think him and Von Miller, if Irving can eventually become a starter, that's a nice 1-2 punch at linebacker, and he just adds more depth and competition at the position. I think it eventually will be an eventual starter for us. Obviously adds depth to that inside linebacker position. You now have him there, Nate Irving there, DJ Williams there, Wesley Woodyard there, and Joe Mays there. So there's some nice competition at that spot. I think Nate Irving can easily come in day one and be a backup to DJ. If not, maybe even surpass him and be a starter, or come in on maybe third down and replace DJ. Come in for a couple plays, give DJ a breather, and I think he can still make an impact. And I think, like I said, the Broncos draft him to provide competition at that inside linebacking spot. And I think they draft a guy that they think, and I think will, if he doesn't start this year, will eventually become a starter maybe in 2 or 3 years. So love the pick of Nate Irving. He's a guy that's also very highly productive at the collegiate level. I mean, his career stats, you look at him, he had 211 tackles in 3 seasons. That's great. Guy was a tackling machine. 9 sacks. I mean, he's a guy that has also played outside linebacker, so he's got some versatility there, and is a guy that can get to the quarterback. Had 6 forced fumbles. You love seeing that. And 4 interceptions. And someone pointed out to me he had 40 and a half tackles for loss. I mean, that's ridiculous. This is a guy that's a disruptive player, a very productive player, and like I said, has a great will, and is a guy that has great heart and loves the game of football because of what he came back from in that car accident. This is a good character guy. He said that the coaches have already talked to him that they want him to play inside, so I expect him to be there. But he's a guy that is very versatile, as I mentioned, has played outside before, brings versatility and depth to your linebacking core, which I like seeing. And he also talked about teaming up with Von Miller. Apparently, they got to know each other throughout this draft process at the combine. I think he said the combine or throughout the draft process. And also mentioned that he's excited to team up with Von Miller and hopefully wreak havoc on opposing offenses. You love hearing that, and I'm very excited to have Nate Irving here. I think he's going to be one of the steals of the draft. We got plenty of picks to maneuver throughout these last couple rounds, if not just stay put and get 5 hopefully quality players to add depth to our team and get some special teams players, core special teams players, which is something you still need to be a solid team in this league, good team in this league. Some guys I think the Broncos may target: Virgil Green, tight end out of Nevada. I think he's a guy that's very raw at the tight end position, but a guy that has a ton of potential, and we still need to fill a need at tight end. So I think Virgil Green will be a guy to look out for. DJ Williams, tight out of Arkansas. Love this guy. I think arguably one of the most underrated players in this draft. Has phenomenal hands, a great route runner. A lot of people are concerned about his size, but is a willing blocker. Some people think he may be an H-back in the NFL, but I think he can play tight end, maybe bulk up a little bit. But he's got phenomenal hands, as I mentioned, great route runner, and is a willing blocker, and is a great character guy off the field. So DJ Williams, I'd like to see us maybe target him. Devon House, corner. I think he's out of New Mexico State. One of the most underrated corners in this draft. Still would like to add more depth there, get another young corner in here. Devon House, I think, is a very skilled player, guy that's very underrated, and would be a great value taking him in the 5th round. I think we could look to do that. Greg Jones, inside linebacker out of Michigan State, add more depth to that position. Greg Jones was a All-American, I think 2 or 3 times throughout his collegiate career, tackling machine. Some questions about his speed, his movement skills, but still I think he's a very productive, quality player out of Michigan State. And Chris Carter, outside linebacker out of Florida State, give us another edge rusher, a guy a lot of people are high on, and a guy that has a ton of potential. I'd love to see us maybe target Chris Carter out of Fresno State. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, enjoyed day 3. Looking forward to see who else the Broncos draft. Thought we had a great day 1, very good day 2, and hopefully we can end this 2011 draft with a very good day 3 today. So thanks for watching, guys. We just want to welcome Rahim Moore, Orlando Franklin, and Nate Irving to the Denver Broncos organization. Very happy to have all you guys here in Denver. As a Broncos fan, excited to see what you guys can do. I'm very high on all 3 of these guys, but especially Rahim Moore, a guy I talked about a lot, and Nate Irving. So welcome to Denver, guys, and as always,